See the slide. News Nation. All right. Yeah. That's not News Nation. I was trying to figure out what's going on.
Oh, their areas on News Nation.
Do
they do news in the afternoon?
Yeah, I did until everybody walked in front of me.
I don't know. Used cars. Sorry.
It's tight in here.
I'm just new to this. I was always sitting here, you know. They were told that they were like, we're not doing anything. And then they gave the email, station team, and so that's how that we got it. But yeah, it was really strange in that sense. Like, from what they do, they're more difficult apparently that they didn't show up to someone and say something.
Yeah, it's just
Whatever that's worth.
just curious because there's not the dealing with
Yeah, we sure. Yeah. And when you said you close,
and like,
that's decent.
yeah, it's actually better than what is typical.
Okay, anyway.
But still,
Right, I'll be there, yeah. We see people in Cincinnati police, they use WhatsApp. And so that's been a pretty effective method of communicating for them.
they had a chat with
They do, yeah. Okay. So just if you try to see in somebody's ear, see that, you know who we are, whatever, we'll keep an eye on it. I don't know, so that seems to work pretty well. Because they get, get a blast that out to the public. We're not all the news, they're plus or whatever, but maybe, I don't know.
See, I mean, like I'm not a primary cop reporter, but I'm in filling there.
Oh, for sure.
And we've had like, I think like 2 or 3 press releases past year where like it's all, and then it's like canceled.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
That's where you're like, whatever.
Thanks, guys.
Those small ones,
No, I wouldn't put
they're all black battery, but yeah, it does run pretty quick.
So I just looked up and now we're down to 88%. We haven't done nothing yet.
Yeah.
The other thing is ours is the point where you gotta take a key and press the on button. And then I guess we got a couple channels we can't even hook up with because of.
Yeah, no. This gentleman in front of me, he can take a step forward.
You have the external but they don't have external batteries that come with the cards. They're just like, use your camera batteries. If I need my camera
What are we doing here?
You are now the biggest conversation in our newsroom.
How's that? Because you can see my back?
Yeah, they're like, are you going to ask him to move? I'm like, I think he's got it.
Yeah, I'll move, trust me. You got time.
What's that?
I said they got time.
Yeah, right.
It's good to know they're all the same.
Yeah. Every newsroom is the same.
Yeah. She's had conversations.
I'm actually waiting for 3 people to call me if I fill this okay.
Big backlog.
I've been up for like 15 minutes. I'm over where people are just like, have you come in?
Standing in front of you.
Yeah. You see that new hat?
Yeah, message between the two sides.
He says when this starts, he's going to fix it. He's going to take
Zero interest anymore. We need to figure out what those
Stay in
are.
front of it.
We can at least take those off.
All right.
I think that is.
You're not
that's
worried
been a
about
process
John
that needs help.
I am.
I am so sorry.
We're trying to.
John?
They're just so crazy behind.
I didn't think he was allowed into the station.
So
yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure.
Might have to ask him about that story.
Yeah. There's 2 kinds of laughs in the world. There's the guy from Saw, and then there's John Bedell's. Take me to my core.
well, then you and I have to realize also, and I sometimes.
God, I love you, John. You're a childish face. You're a little calm over here. We know he's
need it for a reason, and we're not the only people that want this stuff, and it's yeah, for sure. And so anyway,
John's motto is if you look good, you feel good.
it's about the same level in both cities.
Yeah, in some ways, like when I worked in the news journal there, like it was like almost a breath of fresh air to like the small groups.
Enjoy your
Like, their main, I should say this, like their main person delegate is to work with media, but you can just like like, I'm sorry, Chief, but like, Captain Robinson doesn't answer, and so like, I'm coming to you. He's like, all right. That's cool.
Definitely want to you don't get crazy stories like this.
Nashville was a hot news.
Was it?
A hot crime town, I should say.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it was just because with a smaller population, the crime's more like not extravagant, but just like they got more attention.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. So we are back home. Yeah. And I'm
At a 12:30 screen, you light up. I was like, that's a one-stop shop. Be done by 1 down 10. I guess we live afterwards because I'm running so late. And now I'm freaked out about the weather. I would have Friday off and wake up, but now I'm worried about like weird weather that's gonna forecast. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get down and see if Thursday afternoon.
It's supposed to be. Just keep it on the forecast because I think Thursday's raining and then overnight Thursday. Okay, you're hearing that too. Yeah, so you should be okay. But yeah, it doesn't sound great. You're like, it can't be that big of a deal. It's gonna be fine. And all of a sudden it's like a mess.
I just like remember Thursday on call for Christmas Day, so I was like, okay, I'll shoot down. I'll take Friday off. I'll shoot down Thursday. I'm like, I'll try back Saturday.
Yeah. How often when you're on call? Frequency getting called out.
And all of a sudden, in 10 minutes. Yeah.
There was, I mean, knock on wood, but like there was a pretty high profile murder. Well, we didn't know it at the time, but like the body of like, a pretty prominent mom was found Christmas Eve last year. That was sort of, we had to pull some people into because he was a member of the Muslim community.
For sure. Timing and such, or it's strange or whatnot. Yeah. What was the deal on that? Personal or other bad stuff?
I mean, not personal, and police don't think it was a hate crime.
Interesting.
He was targeted because of, he was a big dude.
Some dude went up and killed him for taking some cash or something. That's it.
Yeah, and some people think that there is more to the killing because there's like, why would he of all people be targeted? But it's just kind of a random thing where his body was found in a van in a abandoned seconds. Only after like people who were looking for him had seen his body, and they were like, he's been missing for 2 or 3 days. He was found on Christmas Eve, and like they came out later. Of course, like I think like within a week that like were investigated. It was one of the most interesting things was we were invited to cover his movies at a mosque, and I've never been to. I've been to a prayer service, but I've never been to a funeral prayer service.
And you would never, it's just not probably something that would happen necessarily, but just work, you're able to be in that situation, you know?
It was so well loved and popular that
No way.
there were thousands of people, and I forget which area of town, but like everybody wanted to drive to the actual gravesite as well. And so it took like an hour to drive there. There's just thousands of people.
That's amazing. Were there a lot of different faith leaders there too?
Yeah, people have flown in.
Yeah. I mean, not just the Muslim people, but sort of that clause. I didn't know if that would be appropriate to that. That's interesting. Oh, yeah. It sounds like quite an experience because, again, it's not a world I know necessarily. It never hurts to know that it's important to know the world so you can kind of have a better understanding.
Yeah, and I learned in the Muslim tradition that people are encouraged to help bury someone at the funeral service where he's like a pretty big deal. As this guy was. People wanted to, you know, just take a shovel and like, it was raining that day, and people, you know, had plastic bags out and used them as like, you know.
Yeah, you didn't quite understand.
It wasn't until then, and then I realized like how much the cemetery was.
Yeah. By the time people were digging and stuff like that.
Really messy.
Totally. Interesting. But it was just, those are important to have. Yeah.
Just showing the road.
Unfortunately, I was like, I had hope that at 10 o'clock we'd have like a 20, 25 we'll go back to Dayton at the airport because it's an hour closer. Now I'm like,
Why do you still have to go to Dayton?
well, we don't, but I need to have like the airport for a lot of shots. Right. Yeah, because it'd be relevant too. You know, you see a bigger coverage like what right, whatever. All bridges.
It's Melanie Farkas, everyone.
Hey, how is everybody doing?
Good.
Perfect. So the chief will be down in about 5 minutes.
Perfect. Thank
All
you.
right.
5 minutes.
5 minutes, folks.
So who's on his, Brooke is still on the desk.
And Nick.
Nick is, okay, good. What's busy? She's still the manager?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
We did pull in Nick, there was a new cover. She's now working with us on sweeps.
Okay. Found, yeah.
Thomas.
Oh, Melanie, this one?
Yeah.
She
Colin, I'm afraid this timing is probably going to keep us hamstrung, you know?
in Dublin, and then she was like, well, she was
Yeah, is what it is.
up there, and I saw her, and she was like, flights in town, and then she, I don't know, I think also some sports.
Yeah.
And she stayed at the state health department for a year, and got a flight lined up just because it was COVID.
Oh, yeah.
And it all started, and then this is Dave. Yes.
was joking about that. That's hot.
They're in the hallway. They're in the hallway.
John, you ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
You're fine. All right. Good afternoon. We're here to talk about the 2 5-month-old children that were abducted earlier this morning, late last night. First, I want to make a plea. Nala Jackson, I plead to you. Please return Kason Thomas. We thank you for returning Kyair. You've already shown us you can do the right thing. You can return him to any safe location, fire department, hospital, shopping center, any public place where someone will find the baby. We're begging you to please return Kason. We can even pick him up. Just call us and tell us where you are and where Kason is. No questions asked. Here's the number, 614-645-4701. Bringing him home safe is our #1 priority. To the family, the Columbus Division of Police is doing everything we can to find Kason. There have been over 60 officers on this case since it first came in last night. There are officers that work 3rd shift that did not want to go home until these babies were found. The main detective on this case is still working this case. We're following every lead and tracking down every moment from the time these babies went missing. There was a lapse of communication from an executive level. That is being addressed internally, and that is something that we're going to make sure does not occur again. However, I do want to provide a timeline in regards to the work that we have done and the things that are being done right now as we speak to locate Kason and to locate the suspect. After I give you this timeline, I'm going to then turn it over to the team for additional information and questions. At 9:45 p.m. yesterday, December 19th, a call came in at the Donato's Pizza at 920 North High Street on the report of a stolen vehicle with twin 5-month babies in the car. The mom was at Donato's to retrieve food for a DoorDash order. Officers arrived in minutes and was on the scene at 9:52 p.m. Once on scene, employees of the Donato stated a homeless female, Nala Jackson, was in the restaurant and left when the victim walked in. Through investigative work, the suspect was positively identified by employees. At 10:17 p.m., a grid pattern search of over 50 officers was started in that area. The CPD chopper also responded. Approximately 10:30 p.m., all other police departments were notified. Ohio State Patrol, Ohio State, Grandview, Upper Arlington joined in on the search. At approximately 11 p.m., these other departments started going to all known former addresses of Nala Jackson. 3 other known homeless camps were also checked at this time. At 11:45 p.m., Sergeant Fishburne notified OSP, Ohio State Patrol, requesting an Amber Alert. At 12:05 p.m., Deputy Chief Weir again notifies Ohio State Patrol about requesting an Amber Alert. At 12:30 a.m., additional detectives and supervisors are called in from home to help with the search. At 1:37 a.m., the Amber Alert was issued. At 4:15 a.m., we received a call that a child has been abandoned near the Dayton International Airport. That child was, in fact, Kyair. At 5:47 a.m., media was updated that Kyair was found safe. At 6 a.m., Sergeant Fishburne and Detective Martin, they leave for Dayton to continue the investigation. At 11:15 a.m., we receive word from Huber Heights Police that they possibly have video of our suspect. Right now, the search continues. Based on this video we have additional information to be able to proceed forward in this case. I'm going to turn this over to Deputy Chief Weir so he can give you some additional information.
Thank you, Chief. So, as Chief Bryant said, we had officers responded to the area, patrol officers. They had a couple obstacles to overcome right away. One of which was that the vehicle did not have a license plate, and that the victim, in this case, the mom, had just purchased the car from a buy here, pay here, which it kind of muddied the waters in terms of us identifying the specific vehicle that was taken. So our officers had to work through that. They were able to do a lot of work and get that done, and then were able to notify detectives. Like Chief Bryant said, they started a grid search. Officers throughout the whole city checked over a dozen addresses throughout the city that had prior connections to Miss Jackson, whether we had documented that she'd filed a report there, whether she'd lived there previously. So officers throughout the city were assigned to this incident and had ownership of and were vested in trying to locate these children. So detectives, when they responded to the scene, they contacted the Highway Patrol about the Amber Alert. We finally got that issued, and that went out statewide. And like I said, the helicopter's been involved, neighboring agencies have been involved. Obviously, once the Dayton connection was established, that Western and Southwestern Ohio has been very active and been very supportive in helping us out in trying to locate these children. We were able to locate and identify several connections that Ms. Jackson had in the Dayton community. The people over there have been very supportive and very cooperative with our investigation, and Dayton PD and the departments around Dayton have been extremely helpful with us. So we are extremely appreciative of that, and we are continuing to look upon that collaboration and support as we continue to look for these children.
Where is Miss Jackson from? Is she a Columbus woman or a Dayton woman?
She is from Columbus.
And is she a known person to the police department here, criminal history?
She does have a criminal history through us, I believe misdemeanor offenses, but she has had several arrests through Columbus Police.
You mentioned that the 911 call came in at 9:45 and the Amber Alert wasn't issued till 11:45, is that right?
That is correct.
So,
yeah, we contacted the Highway Patrol about the Amber Alert at 11:45.
So can you explain what the lag was and why you couldn't put an Amber Alert out even without a license plate? Is that protocol or is that a judgment call?
So there was some back and forth, I think, with us talking to the state about what the requirements were for the Amber Alert. And obviously it's a unique circumstance when there's no license plate. And in addition, we were trying to verify the VIN number of the vehicle. So there were some obstacles that we had to go through with that. But at the end of the day, we obviously pushed forward that our position was that we needed the Amber Alert, and it was necessary in this case. And the Highway Patrol, put it out.
When I spoke to the grandmother, she said she told me she was furious that Amber Alerts were not put out earlier despite their plea, and she said that that gave the suspect that much more time to leave the city without anybody knowing. How do you respond to the family's concerns about that?
I would say that I understand her concerns, and obviously I think that in a perfect world we would love to have had it out a little bit earlier, but that our officers did the best they could dealing with the chaotic scene and going through the steps that they needed to go through. And obviously our investigators considered it the top priority to get the Amber Alert out, and we're very adamant that needed to be the next step in the investigation, and we were able to make it happen.
Nyla Jackson has previously been arrested for child endangerment with intent to cause harm. Is this child in danger?
Yes. I mean, at this, in all fairness, yes, we consider this child to be in danger. That's why we are expending the resources we are, and we are asking for the community's help. And this is a cry for help. We are asking for the community to come forward and help us locate this child.
Did she know those kids previously, or is this just?
We don't have any indication that that's a fact in this case. At this point, we are dealing with the fact that she had no knowledge of who the mom was and or the kids.
Chief, you mentioned there was a lapse in executive leadership. Does that pertain to the delay in putting the Amber Alert out?
No. The work was absolutely being done by the Columbus Division of Police. The communication lapse is in regards to the executive team and our notification. So that's something that we're addressing on our end.
So you weren't aware this was going on?
I was not.
Nala Jackson was a person of interest this morning, but is now a suspect. Can you talk to me about why?
Because there was additional information through investigative work that gave us that ability to make that determination.
Are you able to share what it was?
Right at this time, we're not going to necessarily give you all that information. We want to make sure that we are able to do our investigation and have it preserved and be able to do what we need to do moving forward.
You mentioned, Chief, that Huber PD might have caught her on video. Do you believe she's in the greater Dayton area at this point, still has the baby?
We don't know, which is why we're putting the plea out and asking for any information. I'll give that number again. If anyone has any information, anyone, as small as you may think this information is, 614-645-4701. That's 614-645-4701. Our main priority right now is to have Kason return home.
You said, Chief, no questions asked. Even if she is a suspect, you would be willing to say, drop her off, we'll come to you, we'll take the baby and deal with the aftermath later? Is that sort of what you're implying?
Right now, our concern is to get the baby. We want to make sure that Kason is safe. That is our number one priority. Clearly, we're concerned about everything, but we want to make sure that we bring that baby home to the family.
Can you talk about the car? I'm sorry, the car, because I think there did a crash, and then is that what caused the damage? And we're just trying to, it's confusing to me anyway.
No, my understanding is that damage was there prior to. So that was already, there was already damage to the
You
vehicle.
mentioned that she was caught on videotape. Where was it, when, what was she doing, what were those hours?
Did you want to talk briefly about it? I know we get, for the integrity investigation, we're not going to get too deep into the woods. We just know that there was a sighting at this particular location, and so we want to make sure that we're able to follow up and do the things that we need to do to make sure our investigation is complete.
Do you believe she's still driving this car?
We don't know. We don't know any information. If someone has information about even the vehicle, where it may be located, even if it's in an alley or somewhere, we need to know that.
Is there any reason to believe that Nala Jackson knew the kids were in the back seat, or she just saw a car that was running in?
We don't know, and maybe she did. She did give Kyair and put him in a location where we were able to find him. So we're pleading, and we're hoping that she will do the same thing for Kason.
Is it possible Kason is somewhere else and nobody's found him yet?
It's possible, which is why we're pleading for anybody to be vigilant, to make sure that you're paying attention. Even if you think it's something that's not a big deal, it could be a baby blanket, a car seat, anything that you may find, please notify us so that we can follow up on that.
When Kyair was found, was he checked out by medics? We know this gentleman found him in the economy lot at the Dayton Airport. Is he okay? What of?
I don't have any information in regards to that, but I know that he was returned safely, so he was returned, yes.
Does that mean he was reunited with his parents?
I'm pretty sure that if Kyair was found, that his mom and his family is definitely wherever he is at this moment.
Chief, of the connections you've made about Nala Jackson, can you speak to whatever the community would need to know about her state of mind, insofar as that they see this woman, it seems like it could be her? I mean, what do you think her state of mind is right now? We're
concerned. She obviously, has two 5-month-olds, so we're concerned, and we want to make sure that we put that out there that, even for her, we're concerned for her. Please return the baby. Allow us to, have that communication with you, find out what's going on. But, we don't think that maybe, if she didn't know the babies were in the back of the vehicle, this would be a great time to step forward, bring Kason home.
Chief, have you talked to her family? Has she reached out to them? Has she talked to any family members or friends?
Not that we're aware of. Again, we've been beating the pavement and trying to find locations where she may be. So at this point, we don't have any communication.
Chief, do you know what Kason would have been wearing if someone sees him?
Yes, there is a picture. Is that what he was wearing in the picture?
That's not what he was wearing in the picture.
Do you have a description of what he was wearing?
I don't on that.
We'll make sure we,
It was a brown outfit.
yeah,
Brown outfit.
they were wearing the same thing. Yes.
And you mentioned the video that is important. You're not sharing that with us at this point, is that right?
Yes, well, not at this point.
And in the Dayton Airport, I would have to imagine there are lots of cameras there. Is there footage of her dropping off Kyair, or
We do have footage.
is that helpful, or would you share that? Or I mean, it would be helpful for people to see kind of some of that, I suppose. But it's your investigation. I don't know. I asked.
I'm going to defer that to the lead investigative team, so.
We are going through, we do believe that there is, we have seen video of a little bit from the airport. We are trying to locate other cameras that may be closer or have a better angle. Our investigators that went to Dayton were able to view that, and obviously we're going to get hard copies and everything like that. So as we move forward, that'll be part of the investigation.
And can I ask real quick, and this may be more for you, Deputy Chief, the idea that she drops off one child, keeps one, that is a very perplexing thing to my mind. From an investigative standpoint, what does that say to you at this moment?
I'm troubled. I'm sorry. Obviously, I think that's a troubling aspect of this case. In talking to the commander over special victims and our other leadership team, that is a troubling aspect, and it's like perplexing as to why that would be. And obviously, we can all let our imaginations run wild, but we have to deal with what the facts are, and the facts are we're still looking for one child.
Was there surveillance video from the Donatos that helped you at all? Did you actually see the mother walk in, and then did you see the suspect leave the Donatos from the video cameras?
I did not. Like I said, I know Sergeant Bennett was at the scene.
Sir, the video footage was not able to be accessed at the time, and the angles of the video did not show much from outside of the front of the store.
What is the video from Huber Heights Police? Are we talking about like a flock camera, surveillance video?
It is not a flock camera. It's from a business, and like I said, I think that's our detectives also are looking at that, getting the hard copy, seeing if we can clean the video up, and what we can ascertain, what we can learn from that video. I will say this: that video, the video we have from Huber Heights, is from prior to the child being dropped off at the airport. So our last sighting was at approximately 4:30 when that child was dropped off at the airport.
Chief, with all due respect, you talk about the communication breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it when you have a 5-month-old baby missing who your department says is in danger, why this long before you all are publicly having a press conference about this matter?
Well, I will tell you, again, CPD was doing the work that they needed to do. Unfortunately, and it's something that we're looking at internally, there was a lapse in communication. Had I known, we would have had the press conference last night or early this morning. And that's just a reality. I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But that doesn't mean that the team wasn't doing the work. They were working diligently. They were doing all the things. When I did come in and I did get briefed, I was very relieved that those things were being put in place and the work was being done. We just have to do a better job in making sure that that communication is conveyed.
Is Jackson's biological child in her custody?
I don't have that information.
Any indication that all of Jackson and Kason Thomas are out of the state of Ohio?
We don't have that information either. We're hopeful that we were able to locate them, but at this point, we don't know.
Well, Chief, I believe was addressed earlier, but was this communication breakdown at your executive level, is that part of what led to this 4 hours between child reported missing and the Amber Alert being issued?
No.
What's
No,
the deal with that?
there were command staff that were involved, so that was not a breakdown in regards to that. That was more an administrative function between two agencies that were trying to work that out and get the information out. So that was not the breakdown or lapse in communication.
So I feel like there are 1,000 questions. I'll ask one more. The idea, so Columbus to Dayton, I mean, and this again may be for the investigative side. She's got connections in Dayton, but she's from Columbus. That's still a drive, and why do you think she went to the airport? How did she end up there? I just don't know, I guess.
I apologize. I don't know that, and that that'll be something that our lead detective will be trying to track down over the next 12, 24, 48 hours. The number one priority, like Chief Bryant said, is that we need to find this child and hopefully find this child safe and return him to his parents.
How much urgency is there considering we've got an incredibly cold snap coming on Friday with negative temperatures? We've got a 5-month-old who, what we know is in a onesie, We don't know where she is. What is the sense of urgency considering that?
It's tremendous. I think we were all relieved and took, the fact that the Kyair was found, quickly, because even though it's not single digits outside, it was at 4 in the morning and it's still cold. And how quickly would a baby, get hypothermia, out in the cold, in the elements like that. So we are extremely worried, and it is with a tremendous sense of urgency that we're operating at this point.
So again, why did it take 4 hours for an Amber Alert here to be issued?
Last question.
Yes, so again, and DC will probably speak more to this. Initially, the request was asked by a sergeant, correct? And then it was bumped up when the request was not filled into a command staff level, more of an executive level. So at that point, they got involved and were able to get that done. Again, that's one of those things that we're going to be looking at. Those one of those things about communication, even with Ohio State Patrol. We're going to be having conversations, but at the end of the day, we were able to issue the Amber Alert. Ideally, we would have loved to have done it 5 minutes after the incident occurred. So those are some of the things that we have to talk about. Thank you.
Just wanted to double check the spelling on the last name, because in previous press releases there was 1 S on Thomas. There are 2 S's now, Thomas.
Yes, correct. 2 S's.
Okay, thanks.
I know grandmother has told us.
Yeah, grandma's saying 1
It
S.
says it's 1 S.
On the dad's side, if that matters, I don't know. It's a family dynamic.
Oh, we have to find out.
Okay, sorry, yeah, no, thank you. We will look at it. Thank you all so much.
This is a really dumb one.
Those are boys. Kason and Kyair.
That's what I said. I'm
Both
sorry.
boys.
Thank you. Kill the light. Okay, we're clear. Thank you.
Everybody clear? We do have the 911 call that we will be shooting out to everybody that we sent the press conference info for. So, correct, from the original. So we'll send that 911 call out in about 10 minutes or so. So you have that as well.
Thank you.
You already have, or do you have a digital version? We have digital.
Yep, and we'll attach it with the 911 call.
I'm sorry,